People, welcome to another edition of that finger-tapping frenzy that we all know and love. It's WWE SuperCard. Me, Big Jim, you're at BadLadDad HQ. How are you? Where have you been? Oh, okay, where have I been? I'm afraid things haven't got much better in the world of Team BadLadDad. My poor old mum has been in hospital now for nearly 6 months, and obviously visits to her are taking up some time because she doesn't live in London. She's 60 miles away. But also I've been working, not 24/7, but it feels like it. I've been whacking in some 12-hour day, 5-6 day weeks. So it's not really left an awful lot of time, I'm afraid. Not just for some of this, but also some of this. So we're now, sometime Saturday evening, it's 6 PM Saturday evening, in the middle of this road to glory for Velveteen Dream, and you will see very quickly, very quickly, that I am not very far at all. A long way to go, if I'm even probably to get the shattered card, which wouldn't be a pro for me. Yeah, I've got one of these to collect. Oh, skip. Got one of those to collect shortly. Oh, it doesn't want to stop, does it? So if we get Alistair Black, that'll be a bit amusing. Won't be much use, but it'll be amusing. But yeah, not made much progress there at all. Let's have a look. There's not really an awful lot to report to you, to be quite honest. As I've said, for reasons that I've gone through many a time, just excuse all the gunfire and everything going on outside. This is London, after all, so you hear police sirens and motorbikes and things going off. Don't worry about it. As long as we're indoors, we're safe, I think. I hope. Let's just clear the filters on this, get rid of that. And what was I going to show you? Some fusions. Let's have a look at some fusions. Got a couple of fusions. There's a Cam, and not far from him, which is still being worked on, we have a Bautista. Show us the wave, Dave. Bautista. So those are my two shattered at the moment. I don't have a shattered to collect today, although I'm working my way towards it. Working my way up there. Where are we? Le Chambre de Fusion. So we'll collect that in a minute. And oh, there's a Summer Slammy to pick to whack into Gothic, and then there'll be a Neon to pick tomorrow to put into Shattered. Getting there slowly. Let's have a look, see what this is. I don't think I had the girls. Oh, there you go. Sasha Banks. That's new. It's a new image. That's nice. New card discovered. It's always nice to get something new, isn't it? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I've got most of the boys. Well, it's the first of the girls we've got from Summer Slammy, so we're just going to stick her straight back in and get Gothic Fusion underway. And obviously that Neon, get it into Shattered. That's going to be a week before we see the results of that, and whether I get myself a Bautista or a Cam. In terms of these, I've only got one card so far, which was the Shawn Michaels. Was it WrestleMania, or there might have even been a Titan? It was just a pile of garbage, basically. Pile of garbage it was. So let's see what we get here. If it's Alistair Black Neon, that'll be amusing. It'll be amusing. Chance for a pro then. That would give me a bit of motivation in that road to glory, wouldn't it? I need a bit of motivation. I'll come on to that actually shortly. I will do a bit of... Well, that's a bit of a surprise. It's only my second one, and it is a shattered card. That's taken me back a bit. Taken me aback a bit. It's not taking me back. I don't remember anything. It's taken me aback a bit. As you can see, I'm speechless. I'm lost for words. As always lost for words. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that, and obviously the chances of getting a pro are pretty minimal, and I don't have enough ingredients. What do you think of this automatic filling that goes on? It's quite useful for these special event type things, but there's not much use if you're wanting to pick out your specific cards for doing one of the other fusions. Anyway, let's not bother about that right now. Road to Glory, yeah. I'll crack on and just play a couple of games while I'm talking to you, because it's nice if I'm actually playing the game, not just talking incessantly, especially when you've not seen me playing the game for quite some time. Albeit this is the boring bit of the game. Some of you out there might say, it's all boring. It's all boring, Big Jim. It's all become very boring. I don't like doing finger tapping frenzy anymore. And I would say this, that I think it's got to the time, especially as there's obviously the heroic mode on the back of this. Realistically, most people who play this are either at school or they've got a full-time job. And naturally, those things do take up some of your time. Now, if you've got other responsibilities, some people hold down 2 jobs, some people have got families to look after and what have you, trying to do a heroic mode is bad enough because of the amount of time it takes, especially if you're not even using any pick doublers, which, or double charge, that's whatever you want to call them. You're just doing it without spending any credits. It can be done, but you just have to be playing non-stop. But beyond that, this part of the game, when you're at this angle, when you're just working your way through the lower end of the cards, you don't need to look at what you're doing. And there's no appeal to this whatsoever. It's just monotonous. It's just boring. I've had enough. This is, 5 years of doing this, and to have doubled up on this, so you've got to go through it twice to get your heroic mode. And of course, the other thing as well is when you're first going for these top-end cards and you're not quite on the top tier, that event card, or even the top-tier cards are just below the event card, you're having to one-point it. I mean, you start losing the will to live. Literally, just like, just stop, end it. So, I don't know why they don't introduce an automatic play button. And just hear me out. Stop yelling at the screen, just hear me out. An automatic play button. There are games out there where when you have something standard to do and you've got yourself a decent enough team, strong enough team, whatever the game is, that you can use an auto play button just to get you through the certain stages, the lower stages, the boring stages, to get you up to where you need to be, where it becomes really competitive. So you're not removing the actual gameplay element from the point where you need to be concentrating, but it is removing all of this monotonous tappity tap tap tap. I mean, it's just when you want to relax in the evening. If you've, I don't want to keep going on about like just my own personal circumstances, but if I'm getting home from work at 8:30. Then I'm still having to interview someone over the telephone before I could even have my dinner. You're looking at kind of 10 o'clock in the evening. I don't particularly then want to be sitting down just going on automatic pilot for a few hours while I'm trying to relax and watch a TV programme. As it is, I tend to fall asleep on the sofa these days anyway, because I'm absolutely pooped. So I don't see why they can't introduce just it can be an autoplay. You could try it on autoplay if you want to as you get to the latter stages, but it won't do you any good because your team won't be strong enough. That's the whole point. But on these stages, it is good enough. I don't know what's going on outside. There's people banging and hammering now, which, considering it is gone 6 o'clock in the evening, there's no workmen out there, so someone's probably just trying to break in at someone's front door. It could be the police. That's the police. So, yeah, what do you think about that? What do you think? Would it hurt? I mean, there's, again, one of my favourite games on iPad is Walking Dead Road to Survival. And these days, it's quite a nice element. You've got your selected squad of people to fight, 5 or 6 people to fight. Although there is an autoplay mode in it, you can set it on 3 speeds. If you know it's going to be a straightforward match, you can just whack it on the fastest speed and let it get on with it. If you think it's going to be a trickier match where you need to be specifically targeting people on the other team, characters on the other team, you can set it on a slower mode. You can still have an influence where you can tap on the characters in the other team whilst the auto mode is on. So you still have some kind of control. Or, obviously, you can play it manually if you think that's what the match warrants. And I really don't see the problem with having some of these earlier stages on autoplay. Because the alternative is people are going to get frustrated. They're just going to give up playing because it's just going to become an impossibility. I mean, my own circumstances since the turn of the year, have meant I've hardly played this, compared to how I used to play this, which was obviously quite a few hours a day, which I could always squeeze in around work when I was just working from home. But now I'm based in somebody's office, plus doing other things as well. As I say, I'm still doing other journalistic duties afterwards for other people. There's just not enough hours in the day. It's not enough hours in the day. But, you know, I consider those circumstances to be fortunate circumstances, because it's through work and it's through having lots of work to do. So that's a good thing. It shouldn't be regarded as a bad thing. But when you then start adding in what's going on behind the scenes, as I mentioned with Mum, when you're trying to deal with a family illness, it can be tiring, it can be draining. When you're dealing with someone who's seriously ill, who's been on the point of death a few times, and you're still not quite sure how things are going to work out as we speak, and you need to try and spend as much time as you can with that person, it's all a strain, and you actually want to be able to play games to relax, to chill out, and to enjoy yourself, not feel that it's yet another task that you've got to battle through for the day. So I must admit, the events over the last few weeks, I have started them all with a view to doing what I could do, and well, basically, for anything that wasn't last man standing, it's virtually been a case of I just can't do this. I just don't have the time to do this, and also I've not had the luck with the shattered cards that I have pulled. I got that very early shattered, couple of shattered pros very early on in the game, and since then it's not happened. So that in itself, I mean, female-wise, I've still got my gothic gals. 4 Gothic Pros, which actually, funnily enough, in last man standing, was okay. I wasn't having any problem with the female matches still. The game seemed to acknowledge the fact that I'd got 4 females of equal standing and was giving me some fairly straightforward matches. Whereas when it came to the fellas, that was a bit more problematic. What I'll do actually, we'll get to the end of this game and I'll show you where I stand with my deck. Because I did do The Rock, and I did Johnny Gargano as well, because although a lot of people do start off in the early rounds of Last Man Standing, people seem to dip out at a certain stage, and you suddenly find around if you can get to around 3,500, 4,000 by a Sunday afternoon, you're going to end up sort of in a fairly decent position up there without going too mad gameplay wise. I mean, I don't think I was even, I think I was only in about arena 45 or something. I hadn't bust a gut to play it over the weekend. Again, I didn't have time to bust a gut to play it over the weekend, but I did okay. I mean, I got a card that was fairly decent. Well, it's decent by the standards of the rest of my deck right now. We'll just finish this and we'll go and have a look so you can see what you can see. Road to glory. Yeah, look, realistically, I just don't see this happening for me. Did I not have any doublers? I thought I had some doublers. Yeah, we've got Road to Glory going as well. I mean, Road to Glory, Road to Glory. Team Battleground. The last Team Battleground, which we did win, fortunately, I was only able to power up 3 cards, and that was, I actually broke off at work with my roll and my drink, and quickly whacked through an hour's gameplay just to get 3 cards powered up, because if you've got your best 3 cards powered up, you've got a chance. You're going to have to crash out of a few matches, but you've got a chance in TBG. Right, what are we going to do? Cards. It's cards. So there you go. There's Jonathan, 3,232 was the finish on him. But yeah, his stats aren't too bad. It's obviously better than a standard Shattered Pro. The Rock card that I got, I mean, that was fairly low ranking, and it's reflected by the fact that I don't think it's going to beat any Shattered Pros by the looks of it. So I've got high hopes. I've got to have high hopes in these fellas here. Hope that I can get a pro out of them. And of course, there's the newcomer. There's this boy here. So, you know, it's kind of strange that when I've done all of these special events, and I've been going hellbent for the leather, and you get about 8 or 9 cards out of it, I never seem to get a top tier card. These last couple of events, special events, I've only opened 2 or 3 packs, and I've both times got a single shattered out of it. Yes, okay. So, what do you reckon? Should there be some element of autoplay? How are you finding it? Are you getting stuck in still? Are you still loving every second of it, or are you finding it's just getting a bit much? I need to do something just to break up the monotony of this just non-stop. I mean, I almost feel physically sick at the thought of doing 2 runs through Road to Glory right now. I'm so tired. It just makes me think I can't do it. I can't do it. If it was a marathon, I'd have given up and just walked to the nearest pub, and I'd be sitting at the bar right now with a couple of beers. That's how much I feel about it. So there you go, people. Great to see you again. I have still been tweeting away and sticking a couple of pics up on Instagram, so do go and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all the other social media nonsense. But thank you ever so much for watching. Sorry I've not been around much over these last couple of weeks. I do appreciate all your messages of support, those of you who are regular viewers and you have seen what's been going on and you have been following our story off screen. So that really does mean a lot. And the fact that there's still 32,000 of you out there haven't unsubscribed yet is quite nice. It's quite nice. And I do promise that things should get better. Well, I've got to tell myself that. Things are going to get better and I'll have more time to come back and enjoy playing this. And I've actually had a chat with Ninja today about playing some FIFA and some of the other games, because he's been taking a screen break from various things. And he's up for playing a few Man-Ovi, Ninja Boyo type games, only he's had a change of name. He's had a change of name. Maybe we'll introduce his new persona to you. How about that? Would you like to see Ninja Boy back under his new persona? You know, like WWE stars like to change now and again. Well, he's refreshed his personality. So, I won't say any more than that. I'll just leave that thought with you. So until I see you next time, you stay cool.
People say to me all the time, "Hey Johnny Wrestling, what does it take to become a winner?" To those people I say, try watching BadLadDad's latest video. He'll show you just what it takes to become a WWE SuperCard champion.